Assalamu alaikum, dear students. This is me, Mudassir Inam, lecturer, Department of English, Federal Urdu University of Arts, Science and Technology, Islamabad. Students, the course name is Expository Writing. Our first lecture is about to know definition of expository writing, types of expository writing, purposes of expository writing, and application of expository writing. These are the outline of today's lecture. First is to know about introduction to expository writing, then definition of expository writing, characteristic of expository writing, types of expository writing, purposes of expository writing, and application of expository writing. Expository writing is a type of writing that explain, describe, argue information about a topic. It is clear, direct, and based on a fact. It does not include personal opinion. In addition, we can also say that expository writing is a fundamental form of writing that is widely used in academic, journalism, and professional communication. Unlike narrative or persuasive writing, expository writing aims to inform, explain, and clarify idea without personal opinion or emotion. It is structured way of presenting facts, concept, and explanation in a clear and logical manner. As we know that good writing is an essential skill in both academic and professional life, one of the most common forms of writing is expository writing, which helps in explaining, informing, and clarifying idea. Now, there are several definitions of expository writing. We can define that the word expository comes from the verb expose, which means to explain or reveal something clearly. Expository writing is a form of writing that aims to inform, explain, describe, or clarify a topic in a logical and straightforward manner. We can also define that expository writing is a type of writing that presents facts, explanation, and logical argument to educate or inform the reader about a particular subject. The main goal of expository writing is to provide clarity and understanding rather than to entertain or persuade. This type of writing is objective and relies on evidence and logical structure to convey information effectively. Students, there are some characteristics of expository writing which make it different from other types of writing, such as like clarity and conciseness, logical organization, objective terms, evidence-based. Clarity and concise means uses simple and straightforward language. Means the words that are selected by writer while writing expository text, he is trying to select very simple and common words. And also the sentence structure. He tried to write very simple, so draw very simple structure of these sentences. Instead of to write lengthy sentences, instead of to draw very complicated structure of the sentence, he tried to write very simple short sentences and very common sentences while writing expository text. Logical organization means that follow a clear structure. Introduction, body, and conclusion are very common elements of logical organization or academic documents. Logical organization means that there is a proper introduction of documents, there is main body and conclusion. In introductory part, the writers just only mention the title of the topic, or also write about the main themes and the main idea. While in main body, then he tried to explain all the ideas, all the main themes that he has mentioned an introductory part by providing different example, by writing supporting sentences in a main body. And after that, next feature is conclusion of logical organization. It means that in conclusion part, then he tried to summarize what he has mentioned, he has written in introductory part and main body part. In conclusion part, then he tried to summarize the whole text to wind up it the text. Next feature of expository writing is objective tune. Objective tune means does not include personal opinions or emotion. The writer does not try to convince or to persuade someone, but only to inform. Means there is no personal opinion of the writer or personal feeling of the writer in his writing. Whatever he has written or he is writing it on the basis of fact, on the basis of evidence, on the basis of provided data. It is called objective tune or it is called evidence based. Evidence based means also that there is fact, there is data, there is example to support information. It includes facts, examples, statistic, or explanation. Means whatever the writer tried to write it, so he write it on the basis of provided data. He write it on the basis of provided example. And he write it on the basis of provided proof or evidence. So these are the some characteristics, some feature of expository writing which make this expository writing as different from other types of writing such as to make it different from narrative writing, to make it different from exaggerative writing, to make it different from persuasive writing. Students, after to know about the characteristic of expository writing, next is to know about the types of expository writing. There are some common types of expository writing, such as like descriptive writing, process writing, comparison writing, cause and effect writing, problem and solution writing. Descriptive writing, we can define that it is a type of writing where the writer tries to describe a person, place, object, or things on the basis of fact, on the basis of provided data, or on the basis of different references. Means the writer tried to describe these different objects, but on the basis of fact, on the basis of provided data or different references. For example, if someone describe the beauty of Eiffel Tower is example of descriptive writing. If someone describe the beauty of Minar-e-Pakistan by looking the Minar-e-Pakistan and words appear on Minar-e-Pakistan, he just only write it is the example of descriptive writing. Next is process writing. We can define that process writing is a type of expository writing where the writer explains how to do something step by step. It is also called instruction writing or guided writing because in here the writer tries to explain the process that how something happened, how to do something. For example, if a students want to take admission in university, he first maybe to visit on university main website, and there when he visit to the university website, in the first step maybe it asks to provide his or her personal information, and the second step may be asked about his academic information, and third step may be to ask about to select the program, and the fourth step may be asked to submit the final application. And another example, if someone want to make a tea, and there is the process are described that in a first step you have to put water and boil the water, and after that next you maybe to put sugar and tea in it, and after that in the last step you maybe to put milk in it. Now this is the process that how you will make a tea. So this is called process writing. In short, we can define that process writing is a type of writing where the writer explain the process that how something are happen or how you will be do something, means in a first step and next step and then final step what are the instruction how you will be do it. If someone have to set up computer, so there are different process, uh, there are different steps to complete it. Now, dear students, after process writing, next is comparison writing. We can define that comparison writing is a type of expository writing where the writer tries to make comparison between two things. Okay, means to uh, look the similarity and differences between two different objects. For example, if someone want to make the similarity or differences between online education and traditional education. No, when the writer write the similarity and differences between online education and traditional education, it is considered as comparison writing. And another example, if someone want to make comparison between uh, male and female. Now, male and female are two different gender. No, when you are writing or describing the similarity and differences between these two different gender is also the example of comparison writing. After comparison writing, next is cause and effect writing. Dear students, we can define that cause and effect writing is a type of expository writing where the writer explains why something happens and what result from it, or this explains the reason why something happened and its consequences. Explain why something happens is considered as cause, and what happens as a result is considered as effect. For example, discussing the causes and effects of climate change. When someone discuss the causes and effect of climate change is considered as cause and effect writing. Or if someone want to write article in which he tried to discuss the causes of global warming and its effect on the environment is also considered as cause and effect writing. Problem and solution. Problem and solution is a type of expository writing where the writer presents a problem and suggest a possible solution, or describe a problem and suggest a way to fix it. Means the writer identify a problem and suggest a possible solution. For example, proposing ways to reduce traffic crowding in a city is the example of problem and solution. Means it is a problem in a city and you suggest different ways to reduce this crowding, traffic crowding is a solution. Or someone want to write a research paper where discussing pollution problem and suggesting ways to reduce plastic waste. Students often to know about different types of expository writing. Next is to know about the application of expository writing. Application means that where we can use this expository writing. There are different uses of expository writing. Some common uses of expository writing we are going to discuss in this lecture. So we can define that expository writing is used in various fields, including education, journalism, and professional communication. Some common application include academic writing, such as like when we are writing essay, so we try to use expository writing. We try to write essay by considering all the feature of expository writing and also research paper. We know that research paper when we are writing, so we do research on the basis of fact, on the basis of provided data. So research paper is also the example of expository writing. Means in a research paper the scholar try to uh, include or to write research paper in a such a way to possess all the feature of expository writing, and also reports and case studies when we are writing, so we try to use expository text. Textbooks and instruction material when we are writing it, when the writer write books, so he tried to use the feature of expository writing and also an instruction material. Exam answer. When we are attempting a question answer in a paper in exam, so we try to write all those information that are relevant, because we also know that in university level when we are writing irrelevant information, so then the examiner cross it. Okay, so exam answer is also considered is the example of expository writing in university level, especially we try to write relevant information. After academic writing, next for journalism and media purposes, we are using expository writing, such as like when we are trying to write news articles and reports. So for news articles and reports, we try to use expository writing, documentary scripts, informative blogs. So in here we are using expository writing. Why it's important? Because it helps mm, the reader or writer to deliver factual news and reports to the public, ensure clarity and reliability in information. Professional and business communication. Dear students, for professional and business communication, we are using expository writing, such as like when we are trying to write business reports and presentation, technical writing and manuals, emails and official documents. Why it's important? Because it helps in professional communication, makes instruction and policy clear. Next, we are also using expository writing in our daily life application, such as like when we are writing user guides for products, crafting social media content with informational value, explaining terms and policy in contrast and legal documents. Why it's important? Because it helps people understand instruction and information easily. Dear students, this is the end of today's lecture. If you have any questions, so please write down it in the comments box.